GW is really pumping out the information about the space elves, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm pretty darn excited. Everyone here knows I've got a grudge against the pointy ears. I am a greenskin after all. But there's gonna be some seriously cool rules that are coming out, and today we're talking about what the Inari and the Harlequins are going to be doing. So GW just posted this new article out on Warcom. I'm gonna supplement it with just a little bit of information from some of the leaks. And we'll talk about some of the really cool things coming up just to get everyone freaking pumped about new space elves. Because honestly, I think they're pretty darn cool. I will not be playing them, to be clear, but I think they're cool. All right. Basically, previously they told us that we're going to have 8 detachments. Yesterday we got a few stratagems. We got to talk about some of the aspect warriors, how they're going to be doing. Today they're talking about the Inari and the Harlequin. So Inari is changing just a little bit. One of the really important things to know about is Inari is going to be a detachment. It is no longer a faction. One of the really cool things that Games Workshop has been doing, they are consolidating rules. So as they've been moving into like the digital era, it's much easier to find your rules. You don't need 4 different rule books to play a single game. And what they've done in the new Codex Aeldari is they have given all of the Drukhari, or the Dark Elder data sheets, directly into the Aeldari Codex that you can use in the Inari detachment. All right. I said it's simplifying, but I understand that was a little bit confusing. But basically, you don't need to buy the Dark Elder Codex to have access to all of the Dark Elder data sheets that are going to be utilized in the Inari detachment, which is very darn cool. Man, I wish they gave Dark Reapers a model update, because that Dark Reapers model is just not the best. I love the Howling Banshees. I love what they did with the Drukhari Inari conversion right there. That's all pretty cool though. So basically, your Kabbalites, your Incubi, your Witches. I wonder what else is going to be in. They haven't really announced what Drukhari units are there. Can you still take Scourges? I don't know, but minimum you're going to get Kabbalite Warriors, Incubi, and Witches. I would be willing to bet you're going to be able to take quite a few more. So basically, this is what I just said. They are telling us that you can no longer choose Inari as your faction keyword. So this is where the Devoted of Ennead detachment comes in. And yes, I know I butcher the name. Someone can correct me on how to say it, because I'm not a good pronunciator, bruh. So they get the Strength from Death detachment rule. And that is a very cool thing. Now, there is a little bit of a restriction here. You have to have either Ivrain or the Incarn as the warlord in order to be able to run Inari. So that's cool. So you can take both Ivrain and the Incarn, but you must have one of them as the warlord. So let's read this detachment rule. It's called the Strength from Death. And just says you get to use the following rules. There's no restriction. It just says use the following rules. The first rule is lethal intent. Now, at the end of your opponent's shooting phase, if one or more Inari units from your army were destroyed this phase, you get to select one Inari unit, and they get to make a normal move. This freaking rocks. It is unrestricted. Anything Inari. Well, excluding Titanic units. But anything, whether it's, I don't know if you're going to be able to take Wraith Blades or whatever you're going to take in it, you just get to do a normal move. The Incarn, for example, gets to do a normal move. That is very, very powerful. It can more or less just guarantee that if your opponent wants to shoot you, they will not get any of the charges that they want to charge based off of. Or it can guarantee that in your next turn, you're going to be in such a disastrous place for them. It is super, super powerful. And it's not restricted on which Inari unit, except for the Titanic restriction. Besides that, gosh, that is an amazing ability. Then we have the Lethal Surge. Once per turn, when an Inari unit from your army performs the Fade Back Agile maneuver. Now, if you guys don't remember what the Fade Back Agile maneuver is, I didn't either. So I got to pull it up here for you so you can just read it on the screen. Fade Back Agile maneuver. This is one of the normal army rules, faction rules, not a detachment rule. In your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit has shot one eligible unit from your army, excluding the Titanic units that was hit by one or more of those attacks, can make a normal move of up to D6 plus 1 to make sure that they can't, be shot by the next unit if you want to get behind cover or something with it. So anyway, Lethal Surge says just after a Inari unit uses that ability, it can make a Lethal Surge move instead of a normal move. If it does, you get to roll the same D6 plus 1, and the unit can now move within engagement range of the enemy unit that triggered that agile maneuver. So basically, it transforms your Fade Back, which allows you to just do a normal move in response to getting shot, into a Blood Surge with plus 1. We know how powerful Blood Surges are in this game, and this is freaking awesome. Now, if you're taking this on, say, like Wraith Blades, this could be exceptionally powerful. Some of your weaker elves, maybe not quite as good, but we don't know what access they have to fights first and stuff. So this can be just incredibly powerful, and that's just really good. You just get to do that. And then lastly, we have the lethal reprisal. And what this says is at the start of the fight phase, you're going to get to select one Inari unit from your army, excluding Titanic units. Thank goodness for keeping that restriction in there. That is below its starting strength until the end of the phase. That unit has the fight's first ability. Oh, okay. So basically, what you're going to do is you will lethal surge a unit into your opponent in their shooting phase, and then you're just going to give them fights first. Holy crap. The combination there is brutal. Brutal. It's just basically what they could do is they can turn any unit that gets shot into a blood surging fight first unit. Wow, that is a cool and strong detachment ability. There's a lot of utility in there. I'm freaking loving it. Oh, wow. Okay. Now this looks like it's just a little bit of an extra rule on the Servants of the Whispering God, so this is still for the Inari. You can include Inari units in your army, even though they do not have the Asuryani faction. Keyword, Asuryani units, excluding epic heroes from your army, gain the Inari keyword. So you're not going to be able to take your Phoenix Lords in this detachment, and you must include Ivrain and /or the Incarn in your army, and one of those models must be your warlord. And just so you guys know, the Incarn is restricted to the Inari army, as far as I can tell. Better still, these normally Drukhari-specific units that are fully supported by enhancements and stratagems. So all your Drukhari units get full support from enhancements and stratagems if you want to take your Archons, if you want to take whatever it is. That's really, really cool. So they're a great way to experience the entire breadth of the Aeldari factions. You can take Harlequins, Corsairs, Drukhari, Asuryani. I actually love it. I think this is cool. Man, this ability is just sick. They didn't give us any of the stratagems specifically. I do maybe have access to them, but I don't really think I'm going to spoil that online. Cool. All right. Now, we're going to be talking about the codex for the Laughing Gods, Ever Deadly Players in the Cosmos Stage. So this is going to be the Harlequins specific detachment that we're going to start talking about now. And this is actually pretty dang cool. All right. Disparate Paths, this is just a normal ability for the Eldar. It just basically means that you can include Harlequin units in your army, even though they do not have the Asuryani faction keywords, which is very good. What makes the Ghost of the Webway detachment? Ghost of the Webway detachment is going to be the Harlequins detachment. It's going to give your troops of Harlequins lots of abilities. In addition to allowing your army to include up to 3 of its leaders, who are usually limited to just 1 in a regular Aeldari army, it grants Harlequin troops the battle line keyword and an extra point of OC so they can handily contest objectives. That's really strong. It's also going to give you bonuses to your charge. So this is actually a very, very sick detachment rule as well. Part of it I don't quite understand. Part of it is awesome. Acrobatic Onslaught. Each time a Harlequin's model from your army makes a charge move, it can move through enemy models. So you can't be moved blocked in the charge phase. This is actually very reminiscent of the old 9th edition Harlequins, who had the flip belts, who could just fall back, advance whatever through normal movement, and charge through models and not be blocked. It's not quite as strong as that, but still, not being able to be blocked in the charge phase is quite good, and it can come quite in handy. This also works, by the way, for heroic interventions because it's not charge phase locked. It just says each time a Harlequin's model makes a charge move. That's actually pretty cool. Then there's a little bit bonus. So troop units from the army gain battle line, so you can get 6 troop units. That's good. And troop models gain OC characteristic of 2, which is just beneficial. It means that your 5-man can just drop 10 OC where they need to drop it, and they are going to be very good for trading in and out of objectives. You can also include up to 3 of each of the following models in your army: Death Jester, Shadow Seer, and Troop Master. So if we read earlier on, it said it was restricted to 1 of each of those in other Aeldari detachments. So you're only ever going to be able to take 1 Death Jester, 1 Shadow Seer, or 1 Troop Master in other Aeldari detachments. But in this one, you could take up to 3 of each. So spawning like 3 Death Jesters, for example, could be gross. We don't know all of the abilities of that, but this is actually really cool, and it's giving us a lot to start thinking about. The Harlequins are getting a dedicated detachment, and I can tell you, just from a little bit of insider information, I'm not going to spoil it here because I just don't want to do that, but Harlequins are going to have some really cool stuff, and you're going to enjoy it. The Inari detachment has some cool stuff, and you're going to enjoy it. So I'm pretty pumped up about what GW is giving us for the Eldar now, and I hope you are too. I'm going to keep you up to date with the new stuff, and as soon as that codex drops, I'll give you all the information. Because maybe for the first time in a while, I'm excited about Eldar. Maybe that's until I see how strong it all is when you combine it. But for now, I'm excited about the Eldar and what they're going to bring to the army. With that, guys, I'm going to take off. This was just a little update for you on a Thursday evening, and now I'm going to go eat some dinner. So, crump on. Have a great day. Bye.